Everybody, if you want to, even if you just want to move closer, you can check it out. Please do so. Ladies and gentlemen, may I present the Fiddle and Accordion Workshop. Make some noise one way or the other.
How's everyone doing? All right, we're glad to be here. Let me move this up a little bit. My name is Louis Michot, and this is my brother Andre Michot.
Hello.
We
From Lafayette.
Yeah.
Lafayette, Louisiana.
went to school and church in Broussard, and then, mostly Lafayette after that. And we actually played in Canada last week, and we played in a little place called Café, which ended up being the sister city of Broussard. We didn't realize it until we got there. So we're going to talk about the fiddle and accordion. Yeah, feel free to have your. We'll start. Yeah, why don't we'll start? We'll just play a little tune on fiddle and accordion, then we'll talk. Maybe hot shoes or out of song. Hot shoes. So this is the root of Cajun music, the fiddle and the accordion. This accordion is one of the originals. I'm gonna let Andre talk about it. We're tuned up. This is the high. We're up in D right now, which is the standard in fiddle and the high accordion, if you will.
Yeah, so like Louis was saying, this accordion, it's called a Sterling accordion. These were imported from Germany, Saxony, in the probably early 1900s through the 1930s. It was a really popular accordion for the Cajuns. They liked them because they were powerful, reliable, easy to play, and they were readily available. So this is a Sterling. They had one factory made 3 or 4 different types of Monarch, Sterling, Eagle brand. And there was some other ones, a Glow brand that was played a lot by the Irish, but Cajuns really caught on to these. They have, it's just tuned just like harmonica. There's, when you hit one of these buttons, it opens up a little flap, and there's 4 reeds inside that make a sound. 3 octaves, 2 middle octaves, a low and a high. And then on the bass side, you have your accompaniment. So this is a D accordion, like Louis was saying. On the bass side, you have a D and an A. And that's your accompaniment. So if you're playing, you have a G on that side, and you got D and an A to pick with for your accompaniment. And somehow that makes somehow that gives the music its feel, even though it might be technically wrong. It just feels right that way, But they go well with go well with the. It goes well with the fiddle. It's very rhythmic. The way it's played, it's diatonic, just like this one here. In fact, that one, is that a Hohner? Okay, so it's that's 2 rows. So she just has 2 of what I have. She can play kind of cross between the 2, or she can play in different keys. But the diatonic part makes it to where you're having to move in and out a lot because you only have one note on the push and you have another note on the pull. So that's where you get the rhythm of Cajun music, Irish, a lot of Mexican musics and stuff like that have that very rhythmic sound. Is because of that, because of the diatonic accordion. I'll give an example. Let's see. See if you can hear the rhythm here. So it's going in and out. It's that switching back and forth that makes the rhythm of it. The fiddle accents that too. Yeah, you want to do it? There you go.
Right. So so that's the original accordion that came to Louisiana, and it's a D in the key of D, and I'm playing a fiddle that's tuned up, and this is actually an American fiddle, but it's like kind of like a normal, it's not like I forget what kind it is, what kind of design it is, but anyway, it's I'm going to show you a Louisiana-made fiddle next and a Louisiana-made accordion. So there's like a German. My normal fiddle's normally German, but it's getting worked on. So German and German, and so like the accordion. Before accordion became popular, it was mostly fiddles, and they were doing twin and triple fiddles. One of them playing melody, and one of them was doing. Together they were making, kind of what we're doing. So then the accordion came, and now it's the lead instrument. And why don't we break out the other instruments? We're going to go down to the key of C. See, the key of D is when you sing real high. Key of C is a little lower.
And you kind of heard these. It seems like a lot of the recordings that you heard up until I guess maybe the 30s and 40s, a lot of them were in the higher key of D. They also had other accordion keys that they made, A and F and stuff like that, but D and C were the most common. The C came in later. Now you hear 90% of the accordion players play in C. And so the fiddle is going to tune down most of the time. Louis just plays it C with the standard tuning.
Yeah, that's right. You can play the standard tuning, and it's a whole different position. Like if I was playing standard, it would sound like. But if I was playing the C with the tenor, like. The same thing, and up would be like. It's a whole different set of strings that are open, so it just gives a totally different accent to the language, the musical language. So Andre now is pulling out his C accordion, and this is one. Andre's an accordion maker, and he made this accordion. I'll let him tell you all a little bit about it.
So, in the 50s, well, like I said, they stopped making these accordions in the 30s. They were made by International Accordion Company in Saxony. The guy, Dienst, Edward Dienst, I think was his name, died in the mid-30s. I think his wife took over for a year or so, and then they shut the company down. So the Cajuns kept playing those accordions, and there were no more available, so there were a couple guys, Sidney Brown, actually the first guy. He would repair them, and he started saying, man, people need more accordions. They like the honers all right, but for the Cajun music, it was kind of a different feel for them. Although a lot of Cajuns did and still do play honers.
You tune standard?
Is that a D?
No, that's cool. I'm just curious. We're going to do something in a minute. And what key is yours?
C? Okay, perfect. All right. So Sidney Brown, he would repair them. There was also a guy in Texas, Manustic, that would repair them too. And some of the Cajuns would get together and get like 10 accordions and drive them down to Houston and stay there for a few days and have them work on them, then they're driving back. But like I said, no more accordions available. People still wanted accordions, especially when there was so much accordion music being played. And Sidney Brown kind of reverse engineered old Monarch, I think it was, which is this company. And he eventually started making and selling his own.
And which parts did he have to learn how to make himself, and which parts did he have to source from old accordions or from other places?
Yeah, so really, anything that what makes the sound in here is the reeds. Metal. There's almost 100 metal reeds in here that make the sound. Those take a lot of machinery to make. So you could at the time still order from Germany the reeds and Italy. And so he would order the reeds and the bellows. And I think he maybe made a few of his own bellows too, but I think it just wasn't efficient enough to be able to do that. But he would make anything, all this just starts out, a piece of lumber. And then he would, anything that wasn't available, like say the buttons, he would take 45 caliber reloading caps, put a dowel in them and have them chromed and put those on for the buttons. The wires, a welding rod that you make a jig and you bend it. We still do it this way. Some people do, including myself. Stops, he would make he had a little lathe that he would turn the stops on. The corners were originally, not the old Clorox bottles, but it was another brand. Anyway, he would cut them out and bend his own corners. So it's a lot of stuff like that, but the bellows and the reeds is what he would order. So Sidney Brown started making them, and then Marc Savoie, and the guy Sean Mouton, that taught me, Randy Falcon, who taught Sean Mouton. So there was those three guys kind of in the beginning. And now there's, I don't know, I think at one time there were 40 or 50 makers in South Louisiana that made the Cajun accordion, and now there are maybe 10 to 20. There's only 2 or 3 of them that do it full time now.
How many hours do you put into one accordion?
I've never got a count on
Too many
how
to
long
count.
it takes, but it's too many to count. If you make a batch of 3 or 4 at a time, you're probably putting 80 hours or so into each one. So if you make one, you're probably putting 100 hours. So. But it's a lot. There's a lot of little parts, and it's a lot of
And that's
engineering.
that's after you know what you're doing and you have all the tools
Exactly.
and you're set up.
Exactly.
The first ones
Exactly.
probably take hundreds of hours
Yeah.
to figure it out.
Yeah.
You want to play a little, maybe play a little, so, and then basically in Cajun music there's the two-step, there's the waltz, and there's the blues. That's the main 3 types of rhythm. Do you know any songs particularly? Just kind of want to, so maybe we'll play like maybe we'll play a blues. We'll play something called the French blues, and this is going to be in the tune down. So. So that's a Louisiana-made accordion, and the other was German. And this is actually a Louisiana-made fiddle. It was made by a fiddle maker named Andre Ortego, and if you compare it to a standard, I think this is a Granarius or something. There's like, you've heard of Stradivarius, and what people did was they took, like you said, they took that accordion, copied it, and remade it. Well, they took the Stradivarius violin, and they copied it to the best of their ability, because all the calculations and the exact thicknesses of the wood at different points made the fiddle sound like it did, which is why Stradivarius are so valuable, because he mastered the math and the engineering of how to make it. How do you make a box of wood sound like that, So this is the standard one, and this is the Louisiana-made one. They're about the same size. Yeah, and I think, so it looks like the sides, definitely is a little thinner. And this guy, Andre Ortego, he made a bunch of different types, like different shapes of fiddles. He'd kind of make them, I think, as he went. But usually they make a mold, so, you go by a mold, so they come out basically the same. But if you look at the headstock, it's much smaller. See that? So and they say a lot of the tone is in the headstock. And so this Louisiana-made headstock is much smaller. And standard, they put purfling, which is they inlay, I think it's wood or...
It's wood, yeah.
It's a certain wood they inlay at the edges, and it helps stop the vibration of sound or send it down into the ribs, or they figured it out, whatever they did. So instead of actually inlaying purfling, this guy, he used a big ballpoint pen and drew the purfling perfectly by hand. It looks really good. You can, and so I'll just give you a little what they sound. So here's the Louisiana one. And here's the American made, just like a more normal violin. But this is tuned up, so. But you can hear the Louisiana one sounds great. It's different. It's a little more subdued. It's a little more, you wouldn't play it in an orchestra, but it's good for folk music, So, yeah.
It's kind of. I want to say that it's kind of the opposite with the Cajun accordions, the ones made in Louisiana, versus the ones made in Germany now. And ones made in Germany, they were all made in Germany. The reeds are made in Germany. There were certain materials that they use that they don't use anymore. Mark Savoy started using Italian reeds, which have a kind of almost it's a different sound, a little less dynamic, but louder and kind of punchier. And these old accordions, like a good friend of ours used to say, Ray Abshar, he said, oh, those are finesse reeds. They're more, you can play them soft, you can play them loud. With the new reeds are kind of more just all or nothing.
One speed.
Yeah. They sound great, but they're made for just going.
Yeah. And you have on these reeds that
these reeds, I like the old reeds. So I'll make new accordions and put old reeds in them, and that's what this is. They kind of have a more mellow and bright sound at the same time, if you could say it that way.
So why don't we're going to do another song. We're going to do the same song twice. We're going to play the tuned up fiddle. So it's a standard fiddle. We're going to play the same song in C, and then we're going to play it in D to show you just how if you play the same fiddle on the up and down, because some people play always tuned to the accordion, and some people play standard no matter what, and it's a completely different sound. So we're going to start with the standard no matter what. So standard to C, they're not matched up, but it's a whole different pattern. How about we'll do a waltz.
Mesh or Kaplan or
we'll do Kaplan waltz. There's something called the Kaplan waltz. So here's the tune down with the standard, tune low accordion with the standard tuning. now we're gonna play the standard, the D accordion with the standard, and you'll see it's, for your trained ear, it's a little different. And yeah, so one last thing we're going to do for this workshop, and then we're going to make way for the Cajun Banjo Band. And I think the last thing we're going to do is we're going to show that, and y'all probably have seen, I would imagine, I'm not familiar so much, but the same thing in bluegrass music where, well, for us, I'll say what our experience is, and you can see if it matches y'all's. But traditionally, in the older musics, for the most part, the accordion is leading, the fiddle is seconding, but they're playing together. And it's a cohesive kind of community effort, if you will. Whereas later on, like we talked about last night, when amplification come in, you know, it gave each one the ability to kind of stand up and take a solo where everyone else is back and someone kind of stands out and take a solo. So there's kind of two methods of playing, and you know, we kind of do both of them in Lost Bayou Ramblers, as you'll see, but we're going to play a song, and we're going to play it like together, and then we'll play a song like the modern way, which is like, I take a turn, you take a turn.
All right.
Maybe, maybe Amade? We're going to do the Amade two-step, which is written by Amade Ardoin, and it was originally performed by Amade Ardoin and Dennis McGee.
What about Crowley?
Oh, yeah, the Crowley two-step, like I said, by Amade Bro, the other Amade. Yes, and now we're going to do one where it's kind of the more modern, where we each take a turn, you know, and the normal Cajun song arrangement, where if you're playing in a Cajun band, you know how you don't have to ask who's playing next. I don't know how it works in bluegrass. Like, is it banjo, then fiddle, then guitar, and a mandolin? Who goes first? In Cajun music, it's the accordion starts the song and plays the A, B part, and then you sing, and then if there's a steel, the steel plays next. If there's no steel, it's the fiddle, and if there's a steel, it's steel, then fiddle, then accordion, then sing, then steel, then fiddle, then accordion, then sing, and then the accordion takes it out and the song's done.
And if you don't follow those rules, a lot of people look at you funny, or the musicians on stage will.
Yeah, everyone's thrown off. Like, why did you play it out of turn? You know, there's a form.
Why didn't the steel come after the vocal?
Yeah, exactly. If you don't do the steel after the vocal, then it hands it to the fiddle, hands it to the accordion. So we're gonna play your Tazewell Bowl and do it that format, and then we're gonna turn the stage over to Cajun Banjo. Who's gonna bring it all together?
Go with Mason.
crois que j'aime autant. Moi je connais tout l'amour qui m'a eu pour toi. L'autre qui aime les blancs, les autres qui aiment les bruns. Moi je sais pas, comme ça moi les aime bien tous les deux. Thank y'all so much. So at the end there, we played it together. And as you'll see when we play with Lost Bayou Ramblers after Cajun Banjo, you'll see this as the bass plus a whole band behind it. You know, the drums, the bass, the guitar, other guitar, samples and synths and percussion and triangles. But it's all based around this style. So thank y'all so much for having us here at the Tahlsound.
Thanks so much.